Salutations, everyone. It's your boy Shad Talks Graps, and we are back with another installment of the Sunday Spotlight, where we talk about everything in the landscape of professional wrestling. Today, we got a special episode. I promise y'all we was going to come back with an interview, and I think y'all are going to love the guest we got for tonight. A rising star in the world of professional wrestling, a second generation star as well. This is going to be, they say there's more than one royal family. That's what Cody Rhodes says. Today, we are going to show you that is true. But I can't do that without my prestige colleague, my right-hand man, Clark Taylor. What's going on, boss?
Bro, I'm fired up to be here, and no spoilers. I'm just as hyped as you are for this guest. Been hyped for a long time. Let's get right into it, my friend. I mean, come on. I can't say it. I'm going to spoil it. I do this on accident every single time I get introduced first.
Yeah, well, unfortunately, people can read the title, so it's already been spoiled, but that's nonetheless. Man, I want to introduce our guest, man, a super talented young professional wrestler. Y'all seen her in the independent circuit killing it. You've seen her in MLW. We got Miss Jazzy Yang. How are you doing, man?
What's up? It's Show Yang Wrestling, Jazzy Yang. How are you guys?
We are doing good. We are doing excellent, and yeah, we are happy that you were here. This has been an interview that we kind of just we hit you up, talked to you this week, and you're like, yo, let's get popping. So we're excited for it, and yeah, man, we I think our fans on Wrestling Republic are gonna be hyped for this one as well. I'm gonna open up the floor, and I always like asking this question out the gate. How are you doing today? How's everything going on in the world for Miss Jazzy Yang?
Well, today I actually just worked my shoot job for 8 hours, got off, got home, ate some beef ramen noodles. Those are the best, just so you know.
Yes.
And then and then I sat down to do this interview. So yeah, it's a Thursday, so middle of the week, not doing much. I'll go work out later, train, but that's about it. So yeah.
Love that.
For sure. Friday Eve at that as well. But this is gonna air on Sunday, so I guess it's like when people's weekend is done.
Oh,
So,
no spoilers here at WR. This interview actually is happening in a time capsule.
Exactly. We going to the future with it. But no, that's what's up. Clark, I'll open the panel for you. I know you had a question that you wanted to ask.
I got all kinds of good questions for you here, but out of the gates, I do have to say, we've seen you take on Nikki Heat lately a number of times, whether it be tag action or singles. Obviously, a couple of victories all across Georgia. We know Georgia, one of the greatest territories in the history of the United States when it comes to wrestling. This rivalry with Nikki Heat, do you feel like it's something that is going to carry on further? Or do you feel like you kind of put the stamp on it last time out?
So right now it's actually I've won 3 times, she's won twice. So I feel like I feel like she wants to prove herself some more. And there's actually not a lot of girls in Georgia. So, all around Georgia, we just fight. We just love to fight each other. So yeah.
Love that.
And we were actually supposed to have a street fight, but that didn't happen. So hopefully that can happen soon.
100%.
Yeah, no, and that definitely the state of Georgia, man. We had a guest a little bit ago, also from the state of Georgia, Mr. Alex Kane from the world of MLW, right? And I gotta ask you, I see you have had your opportunities in MLW. Can you talk a little bit how your experience was working in Major League Wrestling?
It was really fun. Yeah, for MLW, I got to work. I wrestled against Danny Jordan and Miyu Yamashita, however you say that. But yeah, our match was really fun. I would love to go back and wrestle Janai Kai. That's like one of my dream matches, to get to wrestle Janai. So hopefully she puts that featherweight title up soon.
Oh my gosh, yo, you like to you like, I know you got that scrappy physical style, and you like to go against some serious hitters, because Miyu Yamashita is definitely one of the hardest hitting wrestlers in the industry, just in general. And then Janai Kai is also a very physical, hard hitting wrestler as well. So that's awesome to see. Clark, you got a question on the docket?
Well, one, I just because it was in Burbank last year, I have to ask. I'm from SoCal myself, and you wrestled Kid Isaac and Sam Squash. I mean, and picked up the victory in SoCal. Russell Crowe, like I have to ask about that. Like that's 30 miles away from me. I didn't attend the event, unfortunately, but I did have to ask you about that one. I mean, what a wild show to be on.
Yeah, so that was crazy. But my dad's like best friends with Brian Kendrick, and he runs that show.
Yeah, right.
And that was my like second WrestleMania weekend. WrestleMania weekend's like spring break for wrestlers. So that was my second WrestleMania weekend. And my dad and Brian Kendrick, they had like a table together, and he was like, "Oh, you should come be on the show." And I didn't know what it was at first. And then I saw the graphic, and originally I was in a scramble with they had just a random scramble. Some guy dressed up as a king. Some guy, who was he? He was a blind. He wasn't really blind, but he was like a blind trumpet player, Tarzan. Yes. And I was like, what? Okay, I guess. And then I get there, and they change it. We're like, actually, we want you to be dominatrix. I was like, what?
You're like, huh?
And you're gonna wrestle a Sasquatch and a guy who likes to tickle people. I was like, okay, this is something new. But it was actually really, really fun, and I had a blast. It was crazy.
I mean, you want to talk about versatility? I got to give you credit. That's why I had to ask about the match too, because I'd heard about it myself. Right, I'm in SoCal, and Brian Kendrick's promotion and stuff. It's great stuff, right? Like it couldn't be more fun. But I can't even imagine from your end, like you mentioned, having to adjust on the spot to like, oh, that's the new plan.
Yeah.
Actually, well, who was the guy who was doing the blind and playing the instrument gimmick? I can't remember his name. I can't remember the name.
To be completely honest, on Cage Match, when I went to go try to confirm for my own notes, his name isn't listed. He's as dominatrix, and you're the dominatrix.
Yeah.
So like it isn't even. I tried to find out who it was.
Was this like a Halloween match or?
No, it was just wrestling. Wrestling. That's the promotion. They do stuff like that.
That's what they do.
That's what Serial Man. They have a bunch of stuff.
They've got some different stuff going on. It's so pro wrestling is a crazy place. You see so many different characters and styles and whatnot. And like with that, I kind of want to just ask, from the beginning, like what got you into wanting to become a pro wrestler? When did you wake up saying, like, you know what, I definitely want to tackle on this world of pro wrestling and go take it head on? And because I know you're relatively young, you're still very young in the sport, so I'm definitely interested to see what made you want to become a wrestler.
So for me, like, I was always around it. My dad was wrestling. Like, he was actually in Japan when I was born, so he was wrestling like all through my childhood, and I got to be around the divas. And in the WWE locker room, I used to be around like Mickey James, Melina. They used to take care of me all the time. So I always loved like the divas and like the fashion, like the girly aspect of that when I was really little. But as I got older, I was playing a lot of sports. And then when I was 15, my freshman year of high school, I got the opportunity to go to Japan from Kaz Hayashi in Ozawa. They hit up my dad and was like asking him to come. And he was like, I'll come if my daughter comes. And at that point, it was just like for me to go and see Japan because I never got to see Japan. And they were like, oh, yeah, she can do a spot. She can do a spot. And he was like, what? Okay. Because he was like, maybe it's too young, but okay, we'll see. So I trained and trained and trained. Then I got to Japan. I got to do that spot. And after like going to Japan and doing that spot, I really caught the bug. Like going out and performing, especially at 15 in front of like 5,000 people against Shannon Moore and Ozawa. It was a crazy feeling. And then after like all the media articles and everything, everyone waiting at the hotel for like autographs, I was like, oh shit, this is the real deal. I want to do this.
Yes.
So I got like that part of it. And then COVID hit everything. Then once I started being on the indies, I just had fun forever. So like yeah, I've just been riding the high of it.
100%. But I
since.
will say also too, that's even cooler that like the passion kind of started when you went over to Japan because you've gotten to wrestle at Korakuen Hall since. That
Yes,
had to be a dream come true, right? Was that not just like
yes,
floating?
yeah.
I mean, and to pick up the
It's
win, no
crazy.
less.
Yeah,
Yeah,
One.
yeah,
that's like a bucket list goal for a lot of professional
Right?
wrestlers to accomplish. And yeah, being able to do that
yeah,
at, like I said, such a young age in your career is insane. So you're leaps and
yeah.
bounds ahead of a lot of people in the industry already with that. And that's it. I gotta also ask, like, obviously you mentioned, kind of growing up in, the world of pro wrestling with your father. If those don't know, your father is Jimmy Wang Yang. You know, how does the relationship with you and him, go within it? Like, was this something that you kind of had to, push him and be like, okay, I'm gonna let you do it, or was there a little bit reservations? Because you always hear about parents who play a sport and they're either super excited to see their kids following the tradition of being there. I won't say footsteps because I feel everybody's different, but some people may have reservations on it as well.
So, my dad always like he wouldn't want me to start like when I was super young. Like I always loved wrestling, but like I was young, I got the opportunity at 50, and I was like, I want to do this. This is what I want to do. But my dad was like, okay, well, you have to finish high school, have to get your education. And I played a lot of high school sports, so I did that. And then once I turned 18, or once COVID hit, like then I could start training. And once I was 18, I got to start actually doing like the independent scene a lot more. So really, and he loves wrestling. He sees the dark side of it and all that stuff. But at the end of the day, he always says like he got to see the world with professional wrestling, got to live his dream. So he would never want to stop me from getting the opportunity to do that.
That
I
is so
like it.
incredible to hear because honestly, it's one of those things like in the industry, right? Whatever. Your parents being protective of you and making you aware of what could be around the corner, whether it be negative or positive, is always cool. But to have the open mind and like, look, we saw the world. Why can't you too? That's
Yeah,
so refreshing to hear, right? It's not like you were pressured into it. It wasn't like, you know what I mean, anything like that. And you can hear your passion bleed through in every answer you've given when it comes to that subject, right? Like you enjoy it as much as anything. That's why you're
yeah,
there. That's such a cool thing. Not to be that guy, but genuinely like that is so cool for me. Um, One thing I do want to ask you though, ultimate goal. So let's go 10-year time machine forward. We've talked a lot about
10
early
years.
career and stuff like that. 10-year time machine forward. What does it look like for Jazzy Yang a decade from now? What is the mountaintop for you?
10 years. Oh, that's a long time.
I know, right?
I know. I can't even think of what I'm going to do tomorrow. I'm just kidding.
Same.
But 10 years, I would love to be in a video game. That's like one of my goals because I used to play my dad in the video game all the time. I loved like was SmackDown vs. Raw 2009. That was my favorite.
Yep.
And
That was the best one, by the way.
and my dad had a pretty high ranking, actually. But yeah, I would love to be WrestleMania. I really want to do it all. I want to see the whole world. Really, I want to travel. I want to go to Spain, Europe. My biggest goal is probably to see the whole entire world with wrestling. So that would be my biggest goal. And then of course video games, everything, WrestleMania. I would love it all. Yeah.
That's one of the coolest answers I've ever heard. And I promise you, I'm not even
Yeah,
just trying to like pump you up on that, but a lot of people, right, would take that answer at face value and assume like, ooh, she's gonna say I want a main event WrestleMania and win a title. No, WrestleMania, travel, real life goals like that, like cool stuff.
yeah.
You want to see the world, you want to accomplish what you want to accomplish, the open-mindedness. I think that's brilliant. And like,
Thank you.
yeah, that'll take you to the wherever you want to go. I
And
assure you on that one. Yeah,
and
as a
especially
lifelong traveler myself, it's worth
and
every minute.
being a nerd, just being on a video game is is dope. Like especially
And
the
09,
wrestling video games.
if I
Yeah,
remember
that was a
correctly,
good one. My favorite, I ain't gonna lie, my favorite one was probably 07, but 09 was a good one too. But I mean that's
09 was
even
money.
yeah, it was a good one. That man, I miss I don't know. I miss the simplicity of old wrestling video games compared
Yeah.
to what it is now. Like them new 2Ks, them joints be a little too complicated with like the
Yeah.
all
Too
you
many
got to do.
combos.
Too
Chaos
many
is way too
combos.
good at it. It's really annoying. I
And
played
I
Salute
want
to
to
against
the
him
do
homie
and I was like,
Chaos.
I have to retire from video games. This is too embarrassing.
and I want to be in one of those complex videos where they give them like the credit card and they go and like buy all
Yes.
those shoes. I want to
Oh
be in one of
yeah,
those. That's one of my
Yes.
at the
goals.
Yes.
at the kick, yeah,
Yeah.
at the flight store. Man, I
Fight
Yeah.
remember
Club.
watching the Fight Club. I
Liv
remember watching the
Morgan did it.
yes, that is the
Roman
one I was
Reigns did
thinking.
it. I'm trying to think.
No,
There's a lot of
Liv
people.
spent buku cash. She bought
Yeah.
so many different like dunks and like a bunch of stuff. She went absolute. Her shoe game is top tier. Like
Shoes
Yeah.
on
we
shoes.
Liv
I
is
would love to
probably
do
like
that.
she probably one of the freshest like wrestlers like just outside of wrestling like just on their
Yeah.
dailies and stuff. She always is. Her kick game is crazy. But man, so speaking of in regards to like accomplishing stuff and whatnot, I saw an interview that you had and I found it really dope to hear that you know when you were in high school you were part of a club that was big on like women empowerment and whatnot, right? And I feel
Yeah.
like with us, we view like the women's wrestling arc as something that needs to be pushed forward, right? Time on television is something that
Hey, we legit give
we
him time checks every Sunday
yeah
night
we have a
on every
weekly
show.
graphic on that. Um,
We give him the
so
timestamps.
so I want to ask like with accomplishing and all that type of stuff like personal stuff like what is your goal as a women's wrestler like stuff that you would like to see kind of improve for women's wrestling as wrestle now, wrestle 5 years, all of that just in totality.
So right now, I love NXT, their women's division. I feel like they're doing it correct. They're giving women time. Everyone's getting time. But what I would like to see is like more of like in other companies, like more women's storylines that it doesn't always have to be about a title. I feel like women's storylines are always about a title, and like that's the main title, and that's the only storyline they get. But like the men, they always get a bunch of different storylines, and I would like that to be the same for women as well. I feel like NXT does a really good job of it, but like the other companies, other brands.
I
Yeah.
wish you knew how much you were preaching to the choir on that one. When it comes to me and Shad, we cover
You know how
NXT
many
every
times
week.
we've
We are
had that
so
same
spot
take
on.
that
It's
you
not
said.
even funny.
Yeah.
I said word for word last week. I was literally tickled as soon as you mentioned the women's storylines for a title thing. I said, why can't there just be a women's rivalry because they hate each other?
Yeah. Don't they
What
like
like
all the time? Like they
Lazy
like
booking.
yeah, it's like NXT does a good job. They like beat each other up in the parking lot or some random stuff, and they're like,
yes.
okay, we got to fight now. Like I
I
don't know
mean,
why they can't do that.
looking at like Jada Parker and Lola Vice
Yeah.
recently, right? Like she hit her with a
Mhm.
brick.
So many
Like
feuds.
that
So
was
many
Yeah.
pure
feuds.
hatred. Like she hit her with a brick. Like no matter what you say, that
And
happened.
and
Yeah.
and and to your point, like even with like what's going on now in WWE, I'll just use them as an example. They've added 2 new titles, and I'm always happy for accomplishments like that. But also to what you said, you have all these talented women. You could always just have them in storylines that you don't need
Yeah.
the crutch of a title to get them more time on TV. But NXT, we shameless plug Tuesday. Me, this guy, and another one of our friends, Drizzy, who's also on Spotify. We review NXT all the time, and we think the world of it because the women are the
Yeah.
stars of that show. Like
Yeah.
they main event the show. They have the biggest superstars. Now we're talking about NXT, and obviously we're talking about the WWID. What are your thoughts in regards to WWID? And potentially, would you want to possibly go to NXT?
I would love to go to NXT. I want to be a part of it. The WWE ID thing just came out. That's cool. It's given a lot of independent people opportunities. I would love one of those opportunities, But
Get my cell
that's
phone.
okay. Yeah,
Talk
but
about it.
it's cool. Yeah, it's cool. It's helping a lot of people get I feel like it helps you with independent wrestlers. Like our thing is we don't always have like a social media platform as a college athlete or like those people. So for me, I feel like it's a really big crutch to help you get that part and get the publicity for people to see your stuff. So that would be beneficial for anybody, especially me.
Okay, that makes a ton of sense. And I've got a follow-up question though. So we're
Okay.
looking at that women's division in NXT. You've got your eyes on it. We know that. Is there somebody you've got your eye on to work with that you think you're like, we could paint a little Picasso of a rivalry and make something happen? Is there one name? And don't hesitate to decline if it's too intense of a question. But if there's one name where you're like,
or it could be
might be
multiple
able
names
to
if you
do
want
something,
to talk about the whole list.
as many as you'd
I,
like.
I would love to wrestle Ariana Grace. I feel like me and her could make magic in the ring, especially with our dads. Like if you could a mixed tag match,
Yep.
then we do singles. Like we could play so much around that. I feel like.
I love that. I love that. I love that. I knew I was a little hesitant to ask that question because I'm like, I don't
I'm
want
not
to
gonna
start
lie.
anything here, but
Anybody
I
else? It's
like
always
that
Ariana
answer
Grace
a lot.
as number one. Yeah.
I like that answer a lot because I think her dad and your dad have very similar, they're very synonymous in ways of just being such underrated workers. Like they're able to work and we're such good wrestlers, but like character work. And I always say character work is part of the nuance of pro wrestling that a lot of people don't get. And that's something that you have yourself. You have a lot of character work and confidence within yourself. You got your slogans and whatnot, right? Which is always a smart thing to go with marketing and all that. Another question, obviously, as you continue your young career and keep, striving and striving, what are like kind of inspirations you tap into when creating, your character, or is it just all 100% coming from who you are? Like, do you draw any inspo from anyone? And then even as a professional wrestler, do you have like game tapes of any specific wrestlers that you like to study and kind of peep game on a little bit?
So for me, my character work stems from Barry Gordy's The Last Dragon. Show enough, if you know, you know. Like that's where I get like my heel character, and I base all my stuff on that. That's my dad's favorite movie of all time, so I grew up just watching that movie. And if you ever seen the movie, Show enough is the perfect pro wrestling like character to study with all of his lines, catchphrases, his confidence, how he walks, talks, his facial expressions, everything. So that's where I get most of my stuff, like on the heel side of things more. And then also, I'm Korean and I love K dramas, K-pop, and K-pop's really big right now. So I also try to incorporate that for like the character side of things. But also for like wrestling wise, I always study my dad, Kaz Hayashi. I love watching Mickey James, Melina, all of them. I'll 3 count versus Young Dragons, everything. I'm really just watching everything and anything that I can and to take everything in right now.
Okay. I didn't have Last Dragon on my bingo card, but you're my hero. I don't know if I've told you that before. Like, you're my absolute hero. You went in a former life. I was a caddy for one of my best friends, Todd Beck. He's a professional golfer. He's also Korean and also a fan of Last Dragon too. And the way that you represent your Korean heritage too is so cool, Jazzy. Like, I want to tell you, like, it's awesome. Like, Todd is a good friend of mine still to this day. And, a lot of people appreciate it. It's amazing. And don't get me wrong. Last Dragon, like, yes. No, duh.
Classic.
No, duh.
Classic.
That's the
I
the
love that
prettiest.
too.
Yeah, the baddest mofono down around this town. That's where I take it all from.
Yes,
I
yes.
like that. I like that. And I also like the K-pop stuff too, though. I ain't gonna lie to
Yeah,
you. My
yeah, I
my
like the
wife,
K-pop too.
I,
she's a big K-pop fan, so I got listening my Spotify when we're in the car. Sometimes I might play a couple jams by my
if
Dolo
you
when I'm
don't get
driving or in the
if you
gym and
don't
stuff.
get K-pop, you just don't like having fun. That's what I always say. Like, if you don't get it, you just don't like having
Okay,
fun.
look, man.
It's not that hard.
Look, people gotta understand. K-pop stars are like beyond megastars. Like they're
Oh, beyond.
like a Blackpink video drop, and they got like 1 billion
Yeah,
views in the first like
yeah,
day.
they
In
got
a
crazy
It's
minute.
following.
crazy, and
Okay,
Yeah,
it's
stupid,
dope to see.
stupid left field question while we're on Korean heritage and whatnot. Korean barbecue order. What's your go-to? We already talked
okay.
earlier about ramen noodles.
So for me, first I have to start with japchae. It's like the clear, like cold noodles that they give you.
Yes, ma'am. They're
So
the good
yeah, I
ones.
love japchae, and then I love corn cheese. Love
Yep.
corn cheese. But
Who would
now
that hurt? Nobody.
I feel like all like the Korean barbecue places are getting rid of it now, which kind of sucks. But and then I always get bulgogi,
Yep.
galbi if I want to spend that much money though. I'll get galbi, and then I love kimchi jjigae. It's like the soup with like kimchi in it. Not all places have it, but it's really good,
No.
and I suggest you try it. Go
Kimchi
get it.
jjigae is
I've
so
had that before.
underrated. If you go to the right
Yeah,
spot, it's money. If it's on the menu
yeah,
Yeah,
and you don't order it, you don't know what you're doing.
yeah.
Yeah, no,
I live
it's
I live outside of DC. I live in an area called like Northern Virginia. So where I live
the
is like
DMV.
this DMV, but there's an area called Centerville, and it's literally like little Koreatown. Like it's got so many different like KBBQ spots, just regular Korean like restaurant spots, like Korean markets, a bunch of stuff over there. So they always got the good eats over there. I
And
went to
I don't
school with
know if
I
you,
have a lot of friends that are Korean
yeah,
too. So
I don't know if you guys ever tried jjajangmyeon. It's it's Chinese, but a lot of Korean people eat it, and that's really good. I would suggest trying that if you have a
Yeah,
chance.
no, that is a good one. No, I
Yeah,
know what you're talking about. Yes, I have tried it and it's absolutely money. I mean, I kind of even laugh at like yakiniku in Japan is just Korean barbecue in Japan. Like, let's be
yeah,
honest with ourselves. Like,
yeah,
don't get me wrong. Like, my dad worked for Japanese companies for years. In my experience in Japan, the best Japanese food is actually Korean. I'm just
yeah.
saying,
It really is though. It really. Besides Mr. Donut, Mr. Donut's really good as
Mr.
well.
Donut's money. Mr.
it's
Donut
pretty good
is
too.
Yeah,
money.
I love Mr. Donut. And then,
Same.
but also you have to do soju bombs. I don't know if they
I love
I
Soju
don't know
soju
if
bombs are
they have
bombs.
it.
great.
Yeah, you
Yeah.
got to put the
I've been
chopsticks, get the beer, chopsticks, put the thing on it, and then bang on the table.
Matt,
Absolutely.
my buddy's birthday. We went to the there was like a Korean karaoke spot, and we got burnt almost like a few
Korean
bottles of
karaoke is
soju. We was
untoppable.
he was in there going crazy, man. I ain't gonna lie, it's fun.
You go to a good old Korean eh, karaoke spot and don't let loose. It's a you problem.
It's a
That's
sin.
Yeah.
not like a right. That's a you issue. Like
Yeah.
if you don't turn it loose at a good Korean karaoke night, that's on you every
For
time.
sure. For
In my
sure.
experience in life, like if you're not having fun, I can't sing a lick. Like
Okay. I gotta ask.
not at all.
I can't
Speak,
either. Don't worry, I can't sing.
speaking of music, right? I gotta ask. I did watch another interview, and salute to I forgot the girl who interviewed, but salute to them. I got a lot of cool questions, but I did peep something that you said. So you a big High School Musical fan, if I'm not mistaken, right?
Yeah. Yeah, I love high school. I grew up on High School Musical.
Okay, okay, I got you. So you said the first one is the best one.
Oh, I brain farted. The start of something new, yeah. But I would say Can I Have This Dance is the number one to me. But I brain farted in that moment, so we'll just disregard.
No, I got you.
Really?
But Start of
We got
Something
the
New is
real
pretty good
answer?
too.
We got an
It's start,
exclusive?
yeah, yeah. When I'm
Let's
not
go.
doing
I
that
like
much
that.
crazy. But yeah, Can I
I
Have This Dance?
can't.
I love that song. Yeah.
my favorite track was probably the I Can't Dance, the one where they were in the baseball.
Yeah.
I think that's on the
But
second one. That joint kind of go
like
crazy. Like
I like
they
the
was sliding on
one.
that.
Yeah, I like Get Your Head in the Game too, and then the one where
Put your head in the game's
Troy
good.
That was good.
Troy Bolin's like screaming in like the golf field. What was that song? I can't remember the name right now. Where he's like singing in the field
It's
in
the
like the
yelling
rain.
one.
Yeah,
It wasn't Bet on it, was it?
I
Nah.
can't lie.
yeah,
My little
it is.
sister was
Bet
such a
on
It was.
diehard fan.
Oh my god! I'm a grown man knowing all these.
She's
I'm
18 months
32
younger
knowing
than
all
me.
this.
So I used to like pretend like I wasn't interested in the shows just to be the bully older brother. And I'd be like, dang it, this is actually kind of good. Dang it.
But
And
what's your
I,
guys'
you know,
favorite? Like High School Musical, there was Lemonade Mouth. I'm trying to think what else. Let It
so
Shine.
Nick Rue, who's in Lemonade Mouth, was my high school golf teammate and one of my good friends. So I'm gonna go Lemonade Mouth. We were on the golf team together. He called me Chunk from the Goonies because
Oh yeah.
I was built like a fire hydrant in high school. But Nick knows that if I shoot a double leg, it's right over my head and he's on his back and he knows that. So he's allowed to call me Chunk. But yeah, Nick Rue, he was in that one. And what's the ABC Family show that he was in? That
Modern Family.
Jane by Design. He's the main guy in
Oh, I've
Jane
seen
by
that show
Design.
before.
That's what everyone knows him from. And he's Nick Rue, great guy. Monster shout out. He's a male model. Great friend of mine. Well, decent friend. We're good.
Not a maximum male model though.
We're square. He's cool. Nice guy.
Are you, you asking
Whoa,
about
answer
what
the
our
question.
favorite song?
Which is your favorite?
Favorite song from High School Musical?
No,
Or
favorite
your
of
favorite
them
movie.
of the bundle.
Like of like the movies.
Oh,
of,
out of the
like-
bundle? Man, I think it might be honestly, it might be the second one. I think the second one is my favorite one. The one where they was in the working on the golf course, right? Yeah.
Who goes sequel? I'm kidding.
That
I
one's
liked
pretty
it,
good
bro. I
though. That's
liked
the
it.
one where they were when they went on summer break and they were all working. Yeah.
Summer
That
break.
was pretty good.
Golf course.
Hey, you never know. So peep game. I don't know if you watched Raw a couple weeks ago, but Vanessa Hudgens is really into this wrestling world like that.
She's a big fan. Yeah. I heard she's a really
She a big fan.
Yeah.
She had the Roman Reigns shirt throwing up, had the Bianca like braid on. Like I saw a little video of her and Bianca like backstage. That joint was pretty.
Yeah.
It made me happy. I like to see when people just being wrestling fans that are uber celebrities.
Oh, I love it too. Okay, by the way, no, wait, hold on. What is your official favorite of the bundle too, including Lemonade Mouth and all the other ones, all of the other choices? Any Disney original. What's your favorite? Jazzy.
You're saying Disney original just in general?
All of them. All of them.
Oh, you answer first. I'm gonna change my answer.
All time.
Probably Starstruck. I don't know if you've seen that one, but that one's really good.
It's not bad. Shoddy.
Cadet Kelly.
No way. Okay, if
I
I
love
have to
Cadet
change
Kelly.
mine, I'll give my buddy
Also,
Nick
hold on,
Rue
wait. Also, I gotta give an honorable mention to Brink and Johnny Tsunami. Those are also up there too.
Dang it. See, you just spoiled me because mine's Johnny Tsunami. The only thing I don't like about Brink is there's no way anybody that's ever been that into rollerblading was that aggressive. It's hard to believe. I just don't buy it. If your deal is rollerblading, that you're just a nice guy. You're like, yeah, man, I got my blades. I'm skating around. Like, nobody was that. There's not rollerblading bullies. Maybe like a skate bully, but there's not. Nobody's out there on 6 wheels per foot.
You never know, man.
People. I just don't like
it. It was just like the guys who weren't good enough to be hockey players, but they had the aggression of a hockey player.
No, but Johnny Tsunami's my number one by far. That and the one about the leprechaun basketball player.
Oh yeah, I forgot the name of that.
The short kid just all of a sudden can't miss. Yeah. What was that called again? He just like everything goes in suddenly.
But Cadet Kelly is special to me because I used to have a special place. I still I don't anymore because I'm married now. But I did have a
Isn't
special
Cadet
place
Kelly-
for Hillary Duff in my heart.
I mean, Disney was a heck of a time. After school, I had a little sister, man. I watched it all. I saw Wizards of Waverly Place when I was way too old to be watching that.
I heard it's done. Disney Channel's done.
January. Yeah, it's not what it used to be. I'll tell you that much.
Yeah, it's definitely
everything is Disney Plus now.
Think about the stars that they brought us. Like you get like Miley. Yeah. Sorry, no. Ask a real question. Let's get back to
the No, we could talk. She's like, I did not expect to be in an interview talking about Disney Channel with two old MFers. This is kind of crazy right now.
Let's just run down Disney for a couple hours.
Back to I was gonna ask this though. Do you listen to country music? Because obviously, with your dad's character, y'all, and you from Georgia too. So
no, actually, I'm from Cincinnati.
There you go.
Oh, okay.
Skyline Chili. What's your opinion?
Yeah, it gives you the runs after. That's my
yes,
opinion.
exactly. It's just meat sauce on spaghetti.
It hurts your stomach, but the cheese is really good. The cheese
is
really good.
The cheese is great.
But if you ever had Gold Star, it's like the same thing, but it's a little bit spicier. So I kind of like Gold Star, just a little bit better.
Way better.
But wait, I forget what we were talking about. Oh yeah, I'm from Cincinnati. So my dad, he got signed, I think it was WCW, and they got moved to Cincinnati or Kentucky. Like, I forget what it's called. Do you guys know? HWA maybe? But they got moved to Cincinnati, and then he met my mom.
That actually sounds correct. Not to, so I didn't want to jump in, continue, but like, I actually think you got it right anyway. Just, yeah.
Yeah, so then he got stuck in, well, he didn't get stuck, but they had me. So then I grew up in Cincinnati, and after I graduated, me and my dad moved back down to Atlanta. So I've been in Atlanta for 3 years now.
Absolutely. Okay. Love that.
We're talking about music. That's what we were talking about.
Yeah.
The country music.
Yeah, I like country music. I like Luke Combs, but I also love Taylor Swift. I love Taylor Swift. And,
me too. Oh my goodness. Yes, fellow Swiftie. No, sincerely, it's my one guilty pleasure. Anyone can make fun of me. So I went to University of Kansas. I'm a Kansas City guy too, so it's even better that she's dating Travis Kelce. I'm like, yes. Now we're talking.
Yeah.
I've never understood this. How anyone dislikes Taylor Swift. So she wrote all of her own music. Like her best friend, Abigail, who she wrote the song 15 about, was a KU athlete. I played on the golf team. She was on the swim team. And red hair, could not be sweeter. Taylor came and visited her in school when I was in school. And could, like, normal people. She's written every song she's ever produced. How could you possibly hate this woman?
But anybody, I mean, if they hate you, that means you're doing something right.
Exactly.
Exactly.
And then
those are two of those artists on my Spotify top 5 too.
Yeah,
I'm a big Luke Combs fan.
Those are like my now era, but I also love Michael Jackson a lot and Selena Quintanilla.
Ooh.
Okay.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Okay, wait, what else? What's on the workout playlist? Let's go there next.
Okay, honestly, sometimes I listen to Disney.
Go on the workout.
Yeah, I don't know why I love Disney movie soundtracks, and then I also listen to Taylor Swift, of course, Michael Jackson, Selena. I'm trying to think, but I also listen to books. That might sound boring, but I listen to audiobooks, like fantasy books.
Like during cardio.
Yeah.
Okay, I do the same thing, and then if I start to catch myself slowing down, I put on the Rocky song, Going the Distance.
Okay.
I legit listen to audiobooks, and then I just have it dialed up, and if I'm like, yeah, you're getting into walking mode, buddy, and I just go like, dun, 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 dun.
And then what's the Taylor Swift song? Then, what's her off her new album? Oh, what's the one? Really
the
good
new one?
Like,
I was gonna say Bad
Fortnite.
Blood is the one that I play all the time.
No, it's a different
Fortnite.
one. Who's
is it a more uppity one?
Who's Afraid of Little?
Oh, I like that song too.
Yes,
that's my Rocky song.
Let's go. I love that. You're like, all right, time to lock it in. I'm getting after it.
But
Oh, that's
I
good.
did have a wrestling related question. um, Obviously, so you being in Georgia now, how is the how do you feel the scene is for professional wrestling, like the Georgia independent scene? Do you feel like, is it thriving? Some you like to continue like kind of working around, or do you see yourself working? I know you want to work in other locations and whatnot, but like any other places that are kind of like dream spots in the States?
Okay, so the Georgia independent scene, I feel like is really big, and like actually we have like a show, like there'll at least be like one wrestling show going on every single weekend in Georgia. So you can always find something you want to go to, but Georgia's big, so like it's like each show is like a 2 hour drive or wherever you go to. But yeah, I
Yep.
love wrestling in Georgia. Classic City Wrestling's like one of the biggest promotions in Georgia right now, but they're starting to branch out. And actually, we're going to Nashville, Tennessee at the Brooklyn Bowl in January 4th. So they're like a wrestling company, and then they have rock bands play. So it's like a mix of both. So that's I love wrestling for them in Georgia, but I also love traveling. I want to go back to Texas. I've wrestled for Hybrid School of Wrestling,
Yep.
and I got to do like I've been there twice. I love wrestling in Texas. I want to wrestle Mile World a lot. There's so many women out there. I want to
Ooh.
wrestle Key Vibes again. I feel like they have so many women there, so I want to go there and wrestle them too.
We actually interviewed one of my world's faction mates, Kaylani Sparks, who's
Okay.
from the islands, from the Bahamas and whatnot. So
Okay. Hmm.
that'd be dope. I would
Yeah.
like to see that. She's super talented. Marwa is a great
Yeah.
independent wrestler.
She actually
Um,
came to
and
Atlanta not that long ago, so I got to train with her a little bit. So
Oh, that's
that's
awesome.
pretty cool.
That is very cool. Well,
And I
and
also
what's going
love.
on? Oh, go ahead. You go first.
I was
Sorry.
gonna say I also love Puerto Rico too. Like I've been there twice. I want to go back there too.
That's
you got
what
to
I was
wrestle
gonna
Bad
ask.
Bunny.
I was
So.
gonna say, with Puerto Rico being what Puerto Rico is, and it's kind of back. Not, I don't mean back
Yeah.
as in it went away, but right now it does feel like Puerto Rico is scorching hot. I was going to ask you, that was my follow up, was legitimately, you kind of already dove into it, but I was like, do you see yourself going to Puerto Rico for a run or something like that? Is there a specific region that you're targeting next? Where are you looking for the next big step?
I mean, I would love to go back to Puerto Rico. I want to win that WWC Women's Championship off of Stephanie Amalbart really bad. And they have so many amazing women in Puerto Rico that are like really good wrestlers that don't always get the credit that they should. Like Hema, she's really good. I think Elaine, Amazona, Stephanie, and Nahir Nobles, I think her name is, but she's really good as well. So I'd love to go back and wrestle. They have so many athletic women over there. And also, I would love to go back out to LA. I only got to do it for Mania Week, but I would love to go out for more bookings as well. And I'm actually going to New York in January sometime, so that'll be fun. I haven't really been on that scene a lot. I haven't really been on the Northeast scene.
That's so cool
Hey,
too.
got wrestle out in the DMV.
Yeah, yeah. And then I don't think I haven't wrestled in Florida really. So
In Florida, considering the Florida Georgia connection there, obviously speaking of country music, we've got that whole band named after it,
Florida
Florida Georgia
Georgia
Line.
line.
Georgia
But like,
line, yeah.
that would be a great one. But I love the way you broke that down too. And like Amazona, by the way, you mentioned you in
Yeah,
Amazona. Are you kidding me? Come on, where do I sign?
yeah.
Like, how much do I pay for the pay per view? Like, what are we
That'd be a
talking
bang.
about here? Like, sign
Definitely
me
would
up.
be a banger. Yeah. All right. Well, we got a little bit of time left, and we like to close out the show by playing a game. We do a blind
Okay.
ranking episode, like a series, and I'm thinking the
We usually
topics.
cheat the system so you can just it's
Yeah,
blind at first and
Okay.
then you can get it right.
yeah. We'll give you 5 names. I think the category I'm gonna go with is just women's wrestlers. I'm gonna give you 5 women's wrestlers. You don't know where they're gonna come from. They could be legends. They could be people in the industry now, independent wrestlers, and then I'm gonna have you blind rank them So
Okay.
we're gonna start off with a name that you mentioned earlier. I'm going to say Mickey James.
Probably number one.
Mickey
Probably number one.
James is from
Great
Virginia,
call.
so I approve that.
She's done so much for
Hardcore
the business,
country.
even with like NWA's All Woman Pay Per View and Power that I was a part of. She's done so much, and she's still around. Like you don't see a lot of women who stick around and still do reps, like actually get in there and wrestle a lot. And she's doing it, and she's killing it too. It's not like she hasn't slowed down one bit. She's still as quick and fast as she was. So
I respect that. Okay, so we got Mickey. You got your number one solidified, locked in. I'm gonna go a little bit more current. Someone who's been kind of, a big time in the scene right now. Io Sky.
oh, I love EO too. Oh God. Is it bad if I put her number 2 without knowing the rest of the list?
Yeah, that's fair. We're gonna give you some shifting too at the end.
No
Yeah,
worries.
In the interest of fairness.
I love you.
Nah,
I'll
no.
put her number 2. I love Japanese women wrestling too. I don't know if you guys saw that new series with like Dump Matsumoto, like
So
that
good.
series on Netflix.
Yeah.
That's just great.
So good.
That joint is so good. So good.
entertaining.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I love Japanese women's wrestling. Yeah.
Oh yeah. I mean, guys, Clark, I think I've covered so many Joshi wrestlers on Sunday Spotlight. I love that pool too. I think the Japanese women wrestling circuit is like just some of the best pure wrestling in general. Like those women are like you talk about like people like Mayu Iwatani, like Starlight Kid, Azume, like a lot of them, they're just absolutely killing it this past year. Saray and Marigold is just going absolutely crazy. So, okay, but we're gonna lock in Io Sky at number 2. I'm gonna go with different brand now. I think I'm going to pick Mariah May.
Oh, I like Mariah May too. I like Mariah May. I haven't seen as much of her stuff as I've seen other people, so maybe 4.
Okay, fair enough.
4.
Fair enough.
So she's
You got a name
newer.
you want to shoot out, Clark?
Do you want me to shoot a name?
Go ahead, shoot a name out.
Okay, while we're just on the entire subject, if we went Mariah May, how do we not go Mina Shirakawa on the same list? Makes it tougher.
Yeah. Is this bad? I'm probably gonna put her at 5 because I feel like another name's about to come.
Fair dues.
Do you have a name, Shadi? Because if you don't, I got one.
I got one, and so at the moment we got Becky 1, EO 2, 3 is open. So whoever we put is your third. Actually,
it's Mickey.
Not my bad.
Mickey. Becky, like
I
literally. What do we do? This is a different list.
Sorry, Becky Lynch. That's a friend of mine's, obviously. Now Mickey James. Sorry, I'm so sorry. I'm a big time Becky Lynch fan.
Rebecca, you know Rebecca.
Yeah, me and Rebecca. She signed my book. It's somewhere around here. So, nah, Mickey James.
She signed his book. Only his.
And not the 600 people that were also in line that day. It's crazy. But Mariah at 4, Mina at 5. So at number 3. I think I'm going to pick someone who I feel is super underrated, super talented, and I guess she's just going to be locked at number 3 for you. We'll go NXT World. We're going to go Roxanne Perez.
So she's at
3. She's really good
okay.
too.
So now,
she's
unlike every other show, we give unlimited swaps. Now just do it as if you didn't get them blindly.
I feel like the list is correct.
Pretty clean.
I think it's pretty valid.
That might be first all time that's worked out.
Yeah.
Right?
No, you You definitely cooked that list. I'll ask you one thing before we close out though.
Oh my
Do
god.
you have a Mount Rushmore of women's wrestlers?
Um, for me, like there's so many now. Like I'm trying to think, but Mickey James, Melina, they would be on it, of course. Um, Victoria, I love Victoria as well. I'm trying to think.
Gotta love Victoria. She's a golfer
I go
now.
back, yeah.
That's also my
Really,
wife's name
she's
too.
really
So
nice. She's really funny too.
She's awesome.
She has a great sense of humor. And then after watching like the Matsumoto series, I went back and watched like a bunch of Chigusa Nagayo stuff, and she was amazing. Like especially for that time period, like she was balling. So I
Yes.
feel like there's so much more for me to discover. So I can't like have it solidified, but Chigusa would be on there too.
I like it. You know ball. You definitely
And
know
Gail
ball with
Kim,
that one.
Gail Kim.
Gail Kim is
The
such a good
most,
call. Oh,
I
Gail
think
Kim
that
most
may be
underrated
the
all
most
time. I
underrated
would
of
say
all
that
time.
myself. Bar none. If
But
you don't know how
Clark
good
has-
Gail Kim is, you just aren't watching. But I do have one more
Clark has-
question.
But before you get to that question,
Oh, go
two
ahead.
people you named, Melina, Victoria, if they were dropped into today's world of pro wrestling, I feel like they would shine as bigger stars. Like the stuff they had to go through when they were coming up during that time, if they had an opportunity to like really like get in their prime and come into where wrestling is now for women's wrestling, I think they'd probably be like WrestleMania main event type of stars, especially Victoria.
Yeah.
Like she's one of those ones, and she's done a lot. So big ups to them. Go ahead.
Yeah,
Okay,
for
but
sure.
before we finally wrap up, I do have one more serious question that I've been waiting to ask the whole time. And like, so you were obviously a part of Mickey James and Power Card with NWA.
Yes.
And that was such a huge deal to me, right? We saw WWE run, Evolution, the Women's Revolution, whatever you'd like to say and whatnot. But to put on an all women's card like that in NWA was so special. And what Mickey did was so important, I think, to the industry. I want to ask you how cool was it to be a part of that card? I mean, you had to have been stoked about that. And then more importantly, how can we have more of this? Because every single time it delivers, and I don't understand why we don't get it more often. Who is the problem, for lack of a better way to put it? Because why aren't we doing this more often?
For me, it was amazing. Like even like the way I got the spot was like Mickey said, she put out a tweet like, "Who should I look at for this?" And my dad tweeted Jazzy Yang, and then she was like, put like the emoji, and then they text, and we had like a meeting. We went to her house, like had like a meeting about it, and then showed her a bunch of my videos, my stuff, and she's like, okay. And then I got the spot, and for me, this was like my first time being around a bunch of women wrestlers because I was just 18 at that time. So my dad just started like actually letting me like go on the independents. So for me, this was like my like first experience around so many women. It was great because normally in the locker room it's just a bunch of old dudes on the independent scene.
Yeah.
So for me, it was like great. It was like a team kind of like it was like great that everyone supported each other. It was great we were all getting the spots, and there wasn't a. It's like when there's only like a couple women on the show, there's like more competition, or like people don't like each other as much. But when it's like the whole show's women, it's like, oh, we all got spots. Let's all like compete at our highest ability. So that was great, and I don't really know why it doesn't happen more often, but maybe like I don't know. For me, I feel like it's like a bunch of companies have to work together, if that makes sense. Like they had people from AEW, NWA,
Right.
TNA.
Mm-hmm.
So all these companies have to say, okay, you can use our talent. Okay, our talent can put over your talent, and vice versa. Like
Makes
it's just a
perfect
bunch
sense.
of companies have to work together to make it okay. Because there's a lot of women, but there's not. If that makes sense. Like,
But
there's a lot
that's
of
where
women, but
you
at the same
talking
time,
about
And
like
I
the
remember
team
watching
aspect
that
is
card
so
live
cool.
too.
yeah, it was great, but
Because that was the one y'all went
sometimes,
against Kylan and Red Velvet, right?
yes,
In the tag
yes,
match. I remember that now. Yeah.
Like that
yeah,
feeling of though, like watch all of us, it's on. The way that you
yeah,
described sort of the team aspect in the locker room, that's so cool to hear. And like you said, at 18 years old, come on, come
yeah.
on,
For me, it was
that's it.
crazy. Like I was the youngest person in the locker room. This is like my first wrestling experience. So I'm just like
Oh
looking around,
yeah,
like, oh shit, this
And,
is
and
crazy.
you
yeah. You're looking up at everyone, and it has nothing to do with height.
and
Like,
credit
Yeah,
to you, but credit to you, you were also on a card with a lot of like prominent, people in the industry.
oh,
Like the two people you even faced off against, Colin King, doing big stuff in TNA, Red Velvet,
yeah.
an ROH champion at the moment. I think was it
Hmm.
Sky Blue was on the card too, if I'm not
Yeah,
mistaken. There
a
was
lot of
a
people.
Camille, Chelsea Green was on the card too, wasn't she?
Yeah,
oh, it was
Chelsea. Yeah,
stacked. It was stacked.
Yeah,
yeah. There's a lot of people. Kenzie Page was on there too when she
Kenzie
Hmm.
like first
Page
started.
too.
Like we were both at
She's
like the
killing
same
it right
age.
now. Absolutely
I'm trying
killing
to
it.
think who else.
But
There
you
was a
were
lot of
younger.
people.
You won the age contest.
Yeah, I did. I did. I was 18, freshly graduated.
Yes,
That's
ready to roll.
that's amazing, man. But yeah, obviously we are excited to see you continue to grow as a wrestler and keep taking the world by storm in the sport. I'm gonna open the floor to you. Plug yourself, everything that you want to kind of tell the fans. Where to follow you, anything you got coming up and whatnot.
Okay, so I have a website, jazzyyang.com, jazzyyang.com, and then Instagram, Jazzy Yang, Twitter, Jazzy Wang Yang. Whoa, my weird. Jazzy Wang Yang, and then my TikTok is Yun Yun Sauce 3, and Facebook, Jazzy Wang Yang. I actually have an entrance song that was rapped by A Town Supreme. It's on Apple Music. It's called Jazzy Yang Fighting, and I'm gonna plug my dad. He just um built a building for a wrestling school. So if you want to be a professional wrestler or you want to up your game, you know, it's called Yang's Dojo on Instagram, and you can look at that and get more information about that. So
Oh, that's sick news. Don't mess around either. Yang's
yeah,
Dojo?
Yo,
That's
that's
where you
really
yeah.
need to
sick.
train. You want to figure that out? Come on. Go check that out. I already just ordered my t-shirt, by the way.
Okay,
We
sweet.
can't
Yeah, I gotta,
appreciate
I gotta,
you
I gotta do the
more.
same too. Yeah, no, we
100%.
we appreciate your time. Thank you for coming here. And like I said, you are always welcome to come on the show whenever you want. Um, and yeah, I mean that's all that we have for today. We are running on the clock. We got almost here to the hour, but
Yeah, we've been here for forever.
everybody,
58 minutes.
Yeah, we're keeping them forever.
yeah,
No,
yeah,
it's
for
okay.
sure. Salute to everybody watching, supporting the movement and whatnot. Run the views up on this, support Jazzy Yang, support Wrestling Republic, and we will catch y'all next Sunday. In the words of Jay Uso, deuces, ooses.